Fáilte go dtí FleadhFest an Clár, coming to you from Comhaltas, the Comhaltas Regional Resource Centre here in Ennis, County Clare. Over the coming programmes, we will bring you the best the Banner County has to offer, from music and dance to folklore and song, exploring our unique culture and tradition, and opening up the archive here at Comhaltas to bring you some of the many treasures of our rich musical heritage. But first, a short message from the Mayor of Clare, Councillor PJ Ryan.
On behalf of the people of County Clare, I would like to welcome you all to FleadhFest 2021. It is a celebration of our cultural tradition that will be enjoyed online across the globe this summer. County Clare has a well-deserved reputation as the home of traditional music, and two All-Ireland Fleadhs in 2016 and 2017 gave us a fantastic opportunity to share our wonderful treasure with the world. This presentation is brought to you by Comhaltas in Ennis, who are doing great work in the teaching of our traditional arts and in the staging of authentic performances for the people of Clare and visitors to our county. At the Fleadh down in Ennis in 2017, 450,000 people flocked to the town to celebrate our music, song and dance. We are looking forward to getting back to those days again.
Famous for its rich cultural life and with a people passionate about music and hurling, Clare is also a county of outstanding natural beauty. Caressed by the waves of the wild Atlantic and boasting the prehistoric Burn and the towering cliffs of Moher, once experienced, the land of Brian Boru and the ancient Dalgash will steal your heart away. Comhaltas Éireann has a long and rich connection with County Clare, going right back to the founding of the association in the 1950s. With 16 branches around the county and a regional resource centre at Comhaltas in Ennis, Comhaltas also has outreach centres in Kilrush, Innistimon and Tulla. The Fleadh Cheoil in the Westlake town of Kilrush is located in the former St. Sinan's Church of Ireland building. Opened in 2007, it can accommodate an audience of more than 100 and is home to live traditional music performances, session shows, educational events, lectures and exhibitions. A feature of the restoration of the building was respect for the integrity of the existing structure, including the restoration of the magnificent stained glass windows in the original church. In 1985, St Andrew's Church of Ireland building in Innistimon was handed over to the care of the local branch of Comhaltas, and since then it has become an important resource for the community. Originally built in 1831, the church now serves as the home to concerts, sessions and traditional music and dance lessons. Outside is a statue dedicated to the school teacher and poet Brian Merriman, who was born in Innistimon and is best known as the creator of the famous poem Cuairt an Bhean Oíche. In the east of the county, on the top of the famous Hill of Tulla, is the Cnut-na-Gaoithe Centre with a mission to promote, preserve and showcase the rich Irish traditions and culture of the Tulla and East Clare area. Located in a former convent, Cnut-na-Gaoithe is now a residential learning centre for the traditional arts and home to classes in music, song and dance. The restoration has been sensitive to the original architecture and purpose of the building, and Cnut-na-Gaoithe now also serves as a space to preserve and remember the rich cultural traditions of the East Clare area. For almost 50 years now, a great festival of music, song and dance has been held annually in Ennis, the capital of County Clare. Fleadh Cheoil is a 9-day celebration of the best of traditional arts, with concerts, céilís, workshops, cafe music sessions and street entertainment. Here is just a small flavour of the Fleadh down in Ennis. For the people of the Banner County, the Westlake Railway holds a special place in our hearts. Immortalised by the song by Percy French, the line was shut down in the 1960s, never to return, or so it seemed. But Westclare man Jackie Whelan had a different idea.
Well, my first introduction to the Westlake Railway was 1948. I was born in 39. 48, I was filling wagons of turf and stress siding for the railway. It was a great system in its time because it brought the porter to Dunby and all the outlying villages and everything else. The yarns and stories that were about it was something else like. And the crashes they had with it, and cows on the track, and fences broken, and it was a great system. Look at the fairs. There was 1,400 cattle sold at one fair in a Simon one day. And it took until 4 o'clock in the morning to shift the cattle from over Tinnis because they didn't have enough wagons. They had only about 25 or 30 cattle wagons, you see. And all you could bring is about 6 or 7 in a wagon like. During its heyday, in the height of summer, it was the Westlake Railway made Kilkee, and Lahinch, by the way, because most of the Limerick people went to Kilkee on holidays. And during the height of summer, there were 2 doors trains per day, like. You know, it was a great service, like. And it was a pity it was ever closed down. When we came in here, originally, there was nothing at all here, like. The house was after being vacated. There was a committee here at that time, and they got 60,000 from Father Harry Bohan to start the project. And they had nothing done, and the money had to be spent or go back, like. So they contacted me anyway to know what was the story. So I said, sure, if you have 60,000, got the best thing to do is spend the 60,000. And I knew the right people in the right place. So we got the track above in Portlaoise, brought it down. It was 5'3", and we navigated it to 3 foot. This thing then, it was built by Dubs in Glasgow. He was a German engineer in 1892. And he got the contract to build 3 engines for here. That's the first one that came here. And it was also the last one that ran. It was a very powerful engine. And the only other one of them that's left in the world is in Melbourne Museum in Australia. When tourists come here, we give them the full history of the railway, when it was built, how it was built, the cost of running it, and the cost that were incurred when it closed down. The year they closed it down, it was supposed to be losing 22,000 a year, which was nothing really. It was a lot of money that time maybe, but it would be nothing in today's money. The plan for the future is that this year we hope to get that building refurbished and get the road crossing done. And as soon as those 2 are done, we're going to start building the museum. Now, the museum is going to take 2 years to build it, and it's going to cost 2.8 million to build it. And come hell or high water and no grant, I'll still build it. Which would be very important. It's grand that people think you're crazy because in anything you do, there's no great notice taken of it, like. So it's very important to be half mad, like. Because otherwise we get nothing done.
Clare is home to many great traditional music gatherings, from Sculsour Willie Clancy at Milltown Malbay in the west to the Fecal Traditional Music Festival in the east. Thousands of music lovers flock to the county each year. But before there were flanas or festivals, there were fairs, and a highlight of any fair day in Clare were the musicians, singers and storytellers who would gather to entertain the crowds. Sadly, many of these events have faded into memory now, but in Clare, one great fair still remains, Spancel Hill. Some years ago, while making a film on the life of the great Robbie McMahon, Comhaltas Archive visited the fair.
The fair, according to the official records, would date from 1621, almost 400 years old. But going back on prehistory and the fact that it's being celebrated on the 24th of June, that would suggest that it's at least 3,500 years old. You would have had a gathering of people the day before the fair. People would bring their herds up a little bit earlier than usual so that they could rest them on some of the adjoining fields and have them looking rested and at their best. And then you'd have the military coming out from some of the towns like Limerick and Galway to build up their cavalry stables. And then people were said to have come from Prussia, Russia, Germany and bought animals here.
Talking to you, Mr. O'Neill. I'm going to call over there some night now soon. We can...
Clare has a rich tradition of legend and folklore. The county is dotted with ring forts and sacred trees with stories about the wise woman Biddy Early still told in some places. Holy wells have a special significance in the county and remain a place of pilgrimage and prayer for the local community.
Belief in such things will never die, because remember, there's belief and there's cures. Cures in physical things and cures for the mind, and medicines, they won't always cure the mind. The kind of medicine you can get out of a bottle, and to be able to go to a blessed well, and maybe a cure for the mind, you need to be able to talk to yourself. And you can certainly do that and talk to a saint, your own people, God, call it what you like. You can certainly do that at a place like this, at St. Bridget's Well. The origins of blessed wells have to go back to pre-Christian times. And St. Patrick, whoever he was there two St. Patricks? We're not sure of that, and nobody quite knows that. Was there one or two St. Patricks? But we'll assume there was one. And the story of St. Patrick being a prisoner in Ireland and going back to Europe and coming back then, he obviously knew the Irish because of that. And he saw, because remember, Ireland seems to have been one of the very few peoples, the Irish, that were converted to Christianity without any bloodshed. And that may have been because Patrick knew the Irish and their customs. And he saw that, look, they have certain things that we can adapt to Christianity. And one of those he saw was that they had great reverence for running water, for high places. Well, if they have reverence for that, and they have reverence for trees, billows as they call them, because billows were sacred to each tribe in Ireland. One of the things that they would do if they made an enemy of you was cut down your billow. It was the greatest insult that you could offer to a tribe, to cut down their billow. So this was Kilville, the churchyard of the tree. Places like this definitely were important in the penal times because they had nowhere else to go. Ordinary people, when faith was proscribed, they had the mass rocks up in places like Lahorn, where the television mast is now, way up the mountain there, in bogland, distant places where they had very, very little chance of being discovered by soldiers. And remember, for a while during the penal times, there was £5 on a priest's head. They used to say it was the same price as a wolf's head. So that must have been some time between 1690 and about 1750, at the worst of the penal times. And it's hard to believe, but it was true. Now, £5 was a fortune that time, and when the Mass was forbidden to be celebrated, people were still very fond of their religion, and people had to come to places like this. They had no formal celebrations of Mass and things as they used to have it, but it made them revere places like this when all of the persecution died down, and they kept coming. Obviously, they kept coming right down to our own times. Now, of course, we have it easy. We have it too easy, perhaps, and these places have been neglected. Thanks be to God, they're beginning to be appreciated again. After selling out in so many ways for maybe the last 40 years or so, we're now discovering, hey, hold on, look at all we've sold. We've given away so much. Oh, it's time to stop and think. And maybe you can sell too much. These are the only things that we have that make us Irish. What gives this one its special power, I suppose, was that tree that you see behind us. The lovely story of that tree was that an old blind beggar man came here, tired, weary, and somebody had told him, he was crippled also, he came here with his crutches, and somebody had told him that there was a cure for his eyes and his legs in this place. He came, and like a lot of these wells, you had to stay overnight. And he rubbed the water to his eyes, and he stayed overnight as he was told to do. I suppose he rubbed the water as he was told. And when he woke up in the morning, he could see. And out of pure gratitude, he left his crutches there. And the story goes that one of the crutches grew up into that tree that you see there behind me, that sycamore tree. And sycamore trees, the bark flakes off. You'll find it there all around it, along the ground. And what people used to do, and still do, is they take away the flakes of it in their pocket, whatever way they want to, and not to pull it off, but only when it flakes. And they take it away as a kind of a keepsake for good luck. For good luck. I've taken it away myself very, very often. Isn't it surely much better to take that than a miraculous medal that's made in China? Here you have the real thing. Look at that magnificent tree there. As big as you and me and 2 other people, 3 other people, standing on each other's shoulders, put together. What an amazing thing. And a story behind it, a wonderful story. And water in the well. Now, I don't care whether that's ordinary rainwater or whether it's water that'll cure my eyes, or I don't care what it is. Other people have been coming here for generations before me or you. And were they all wrong? Were they wrong to go to all those other blessed wells all over Ireland before me and you? I don't know, but they did it. Going back maybe 1,000 years, maybe 2,000, before Christianity itself. There's something there.
county steeped in history, a land where past and present live side by side. Our countryside is covered in monuments and evidence of our ancestors with an often turbulent past. From dolmens to stone forts, ruined castles to abandoned abbeys, each building has a story to tell.
Quinn Abbey began life as an Anglo-Norman castle, and the traces of the castle are still to be seen within the ruins of the abbey itself. In 1278, Thomas de Clare founded a castle here. Now, Quinn itself is on what used to be the old road from Limerick into Clare fully. And I guess by putting a castle here, he felt he was strategically protecting the Anglo-Norman territories. Not a great idea. This land here is McNamara land, and they were a fairly belligerent people and determined that nobody should take over their places here. So, in fact, it didn't last very long. We're all probably aware of the Battle of Dysart-Dee in 1318. That saw the end of the Clare influence. Richard de Clare, Thomas's son, was defeated and killed in Dysart-Dee, and that ended the secular period of Quinn Abbey. In about 1402, one of the McNamaras, Sheila McNamara, began the work of creating the abbey. That went on for a great number of years. The abbey itself came in stages. The core of the abbey was built around then, but several other parts with the transepts and other cloisters, all were added later. The next really important date would have been when Macon McNamara got a papal bull from Pope Eugene to have a Franciscan abbey here on this site. That came in 1422. The abbey here reflects the history of the country. When you had the Reformation in the 16th century, in 1541, they kicked the monks out. So that was the last time there was a formal presence of monks in the abbey, but it didn't end there. They came back time and time and time again. There was one rather tragic event here when Donnacha Beag O'Brien was taken, captured. They treated him very badly, broke his legs, and eventually they hung his body off the tower overhead to make an example of him. That was in 1584. Now, again, the monks came back, and they continued to be here right through the 17th century. If the story of Quinn ended, it ended in the late 18th, early 19th century. The monks had been pushed out of here again, and they lived quite close to here. The very last monk from Quinn Abbey was a Father John Hogan. He lived into his 80s and died in 1820, and in fact is buried inside in the cloister. The story of Quinn Abbey ended with his death.
I hope you enjoyed this journey through some of the culture and heritage of County Clare. I'd like to leave you with a song that I feel sums up how many Clare people feel about the Banner County, the place that we call home. Written by Tim Collins and performed by Edel Vaughan with the Kilfenora Ceilidh Band, this is Clare, My Heart, My Home. Until the next programme of FleadhFest and Clár, Slán go fóill.
Tonight, dear friends, I'll sing a song, a toasting glass I'll raise to a place that means the world to me on the wild Atlantic way. A land where blessed feet once tread, where kings and princes roamed, a place of beauty and renown, Clare, my heart, my home. So raise your voices, one and all, sing out, let it be known, the banner's flying high tonight in Clare, my heart, my home. Liscannor Bay and Maher's cliffs, great white Atlantic foam, and Burren's beauty uncompared, majestic land of stone. The rolling hills of Tulla, Inchikrone and Cragganore, all jewels in the crown that is Clare, my heart, my home. So raise your voices, one and all, sing out, let it be known, the banner's flying high tonight in Clare, my heart, my home. By holy hands, from Scattery to Kirkhamroe, from Killaloo to Quinn, Kilfenora of the crosses, 7 carved from Barrenstone, stand tall as sentinels of faith in Clare, my heart, my home. So raise your voices, one and all, sing out, let it be known, the banner's flying high tonight in Clare, my heart, my home. And now it's time to bid farewell. This night must come to end, but I wish you peace and God's blessings until we meet again. If ever you return again, of this you can be sure, you'll be welcome here with open arms in Clare, my heart, my home. So raise your voices, one and all, sing out, let it be known, the banner's flying high tonight in Clare, my heart, my home. my heart, my home. The banners flying high tonight in Clare, my heart, my home.